This episode of Boss Rush Video Game Book Club is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn more about Boss Rush Media's family of podcasts, head on over to bossrushmedia.com or patreon.com/bossrushmedia. Thanks for your continued support. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Boss Rush Video Game Book Club. I am your host, Corey Deerigan. Alongside me, as always, is the Mad Pharmacist herself, Stephanie Klimov.
Hey, I'm ready to talk more spoopy stuff.
Spoopy stuff. Spoopy stuff. Yeah. New Resident Evil stuff, guys. So
in a tight dress with leggings and heels, because that's realistic.
Realistic enough for me. Also joining us is PK Power Pat Klein.
You know, you guys didn't have to kidnap me. All you had to do was just ask, okay?
Sorry,
Oh,
Pat.
so we can put the duct tape away?
Yes.
Oh, damn it.
Okay.
That's my favorite part.
Okay.
All right, we're going to cut you loose, but promise you won't scream.
Unless you
Oh,
want
man.
me to.
How's everybody doing on this wonderful Friday evening?
Friday the 13th evening.
Whoa!
Spooky.
That's right.
As I said
man.
off the air, and not to be cliche, but I'm so glad this week's over. It's kicking my butt. So much so, I still haven't been able to play any video games.
Oh, man. What's
Zero, nada.
What are you doing with your life besides being productive, I guess, would be the term.
Oh, you know, adulting, parenting, all that stuff.
Sounds familiar.
Yep. My son got a yellow belt today, though.
Ooh,
Nice.
nice.
So when he gets older and it's the zombie apocalypse, he can roundhouse kick their heads off like Leon does.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Seen
Love
that
it.
happen plenty of times. Made no sense, but it happened.
Yep.
True.
I tell my son, if you believe it, you can do it. Sorry.
Oh, man. What a... Kids, man, let me tell you. They take long poops.
Yes, they do.
I know.
Glad I made it on the recording on time.
Yeah, you were here before everybody else. You were first.
Mm-hmm. I know adults that take long poops.
Oh, jeez. Are you one of those adults?
No, like I said in the text message, unless I don't really want to go back to work, or if, I need to stay there because it's not done.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
For sickness purposes.
Yeah.
But other than that, no, it gets uncomfortable after a while.
Dude, and the kid uses so much toilet paper. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
You start buying this stuff.
At least he uses toilet paper. Sometimes that child doesn't use toilet paper.
Oh.
That's all I have to say.
Got it. Say no more.
Yeah. Speaking of more, we're here to talk about more Resident Evil 4. The Separate Ways DLC came out in September. I think on September 21st.
It was like
2023.
End of the month. Yeah.
Obviously, the Resident Evil 4 remake came out earlier this year, and this Separate Ways DLC is also a remake of the bonus content that came onto the PS2 version of Resident Evil 4 on January 11th, 2005. This game was originally a GameCube exclusive that did not have the Separate Ways DLC on, I guess, bonus content at that time. And man, my Resident Evil 4 box still says only on GameCube. Man, there's never been a falser statement. More false statement? Falser?
Maybe that will be a rare item that will be worth a lot because of that false statement.
Yeah, maybe.
Man, I wish. I had the Resident Evil...
Chainsaw controller?
No, not the Chainsaw. The DS one. What was that called? Was it Revelation? Yeah, Resident Evil Revelations.
Yep.
But it's spelled wrong on the box.
Oh, you have Revelatons?
Yeah, it's like the I is not where it's supposed to be or something.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Man, what a mess up on that. That's funny.
Yeah, too bad that's not worth money.
Nah. Stuff like that did used to be worth money, and now it's not. But
No.
um, speaking of worth money, this DLC was only $10, and what a beefy DLC for $10. This could have easily been sold as like a $30 thing,
Yeah.
very easily.
Yeah. I would like to say just right at the top, whether or not we liked it or not, which we'll get into, I will say as far as how like the worth you get for how much you pay, I
Mhm.
think was more than reasonable.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think there's like I said, there's enough content in here to probably charge at least $25 or $30. Um,
Yep.
it was excellent. So a couple things before we get into the game, or into the review discussion. The first 10 or 15 minutes are going to be spoiler free in case you stumbled upon this. So we're going to give our initial thoughts on the game. If you are a patron, this is a bonus episode for everybody. So everybody's getting this at the same time. So if you're not a patron, you're getting it. If you are a patron, you're getting it. Should be out on October 15th. So
Yeah. Don't
if
worry,
you're listening to
patrons.
this on October, what?
Don't worry, patrons. You're gonna get something else later.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just like a little appetizer, a tickler, a teaser for
Yeah.
the non-Patreons.
Yeah, we actually have the rest of our year planned out for book club. So if you want to here's the list. And this is for patrons, right? And then everybody else gets it a month later. So for October, we're doing Oxenfree 2 Lost Signals for book club. November is Alan Wake 2.
Yeah.
And then December is Spider-Man 2. It will be some sort of variation of us on those. I know some of us have things to do, so there will be guests on those episodes as well. And then January, sometime in November, we're going to discuss which games are going to be the first quarter of next year. So I think there might be a giant Buster Sword in there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So get ready
Maybe
for that.
even 2.
Yeah. Wow. 2.
Uh,
You're asking for way too much there, Pat.
Oh, you know what? Maybe a Buster Sword in a Mass Moon.
So
Steph doesn't understand that reference.
it's okay. We love you anyway. It's fine.
We'll also have hair flipping and, beautiful, like, men dancing around and calling each other puppies.
That's
Ooh.
very specific.
Very much.
So we are like we announced at the top of the show. We're here to talk about Separate Ways. This is obviously the DLC for Resident Evil 4, starring Ada Wong and her story.
Ada Wong?
What she's kind of doing.
Ada. Yep.
That's what. Did I not say that?
Oh, no. I think what happened is my audio skipped, so it made it sound like you said Ava. Sorry, audience.
No, Ada Wong. In case I messed up, we'll check the tape. I'll edit it out. It's fine. It goes on her journey, what she's doing as you are playing as Leon in the main game. I actually think I liked this more than the main game. It wasn't as like scary, although kind of light spoiler, I guess, at the beginning. You fight those bug people. Ugh, gross. But other than that, the grappling hook is cool. Like the combat feels really fun. I like how you can grapple to people and kind of, kick them in the face. I like seeing Luis again because he's kind of just, Luis. By the way, side tangent. Why is Capcom making all their characters like the most attractive people on the planet? Just want to ask
Thank
that
you.
question.
Because that's the new. Well, that's always been the Japanese trend.
I know,
Just
but
now they have the graphic capacity to be able to do so.
jeez.
I know. I mean, they're all beautiful. Like Leon's beautiful, Luis is beautiful, Ada's beautiful. They're all beautiful.
Oh man. Except for, side tangent.
Some
By
people
the
might
way,
find Sadler beautiful. Okay.
Ooh. How about Salazar?
By the way, did you guys see that the voice actor and mocap actor for Wesker passed away this week?
What?
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Shit.
Yeah, he was only like 36. Yeah, man.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was crazy to
Oh,
read.
rest in
They were
peace.
building that character up in this game too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoilers, there's sequels coming probably at some point. Or you can play the old sequels now. But what did you guys think of the game? Pat, I'll start with you.
You'll start with me. It was okay.
What?
It was okay. That's what I thought about the game.
Why do you think it's just okay?
Um, well, my issues with the game are one, it's too damn dark. I
Turn your
need to be
brightness up.
able. I did, and I still could not see anything. I had to literally play this game at night so that I could remotely see the halls that I'm walking through. Um, that's probably one of my big complaints, and also the fact that like you die in 2 hits.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um
um,
you're very what's the term? Spongy.
enemies are spongy. You're fragile as
Yeah.
glass.
That
Yeah.
what you said.
So, I mean, and they like to pit bad guys in tight like corridors or rooms where you don't really have a whole lot of room to maneuver, and you're expected to take out masses of them without like getting hit over a couple of periods of time. And the nice thing though about Ada, she does actually have some dodge capacities,
Mm-hmm.
depending if the move is scripted in that kind of a manner that she's dodging.
Mm-hmm.
And also, her knife's got a better durability than Leon's knife, so
Oh
there's
yeah.
it's you can parry more stuff without having to worry about it breaking, which is nice. I will agree with you. I think this is better than the main game, um, but I also didn't care for the main game much either. But that's just me. It's nothing wrong with the game. I just personally don't like it as
Yeah.
much as any of the other ones.
That's fair.
So great game, guys. Not my type, or not what I like though.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean that's me with Resident Evil in general, but I'm just trying to be look at it from a critical perspective too,
Mhm.
because there's a lot of games not for me. But
I do like that they added new bosses to the
yeah.
game. Like they didn't just reuse all the characters from the prior game. Like
Hmm.
the bosses were at least new and different and added some, variety to it.
Yeah. Stephanie, how about you?
I liked it. And I know it sounds like I say that with every game that we play, but as you, why are people shooting fireworks? Anyway, um, Resident Evil 4 is probably like an exception to the fact that I'm not a big Resident Evil or a spoopy game person because I tried to start Resident Evil 2 Remake and I'm still going to push through it. I just haven't had time. Like the first 5 minutes, I'm like, this isn't the same. Like it's two very different tones and approaches to horror, and I think that's why I am more positive on 4 than 2. Not because it's better than the other, but because it's more my taste. Because it has an action element that can kind of alleviate the terror that I feel. Um, Though, quick word, because Pat reminded me of it, I do agree. There are some spots. There's one particular spot that really frustrated me. It was with I forgot what their names are, but it's the plagas that are inside the armor
Yep. And you literally like fight 9 of them in
Mm.
that
in this
little
one
room.
room. At first, I saw them all standing there. I'm like, I'm gonna have to fight these all, won't I? And at first, only two came to life. I'm like, okay, it's happening a lot of time, but all of a sudden, they just came out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh gosh, that one was tough. But
Hmm.
anyway, I did like playing as Ada. I always thought she was pretty, badass. Not only is she a female, but she's Asian, so just yay, represent. Which also, side note, I disagree with all the hate people gave the voice actress. In fact, I like her better than the voice actress from the performance in Resident Evil 2. Not that whoever did that in 2 was bad, but for me it's if you're going to have an Asian character or any character of ethnicity, I feel like the voice needs to sound like it, and maybe most people don't notice it. But as an Asian, I could tell that the person that voiced Ada in Resident Evil 2 was not Asian and this one was. So I felt like it was more authentic. In my opinion, it felt very authentic.
I'm kind of surprised it wasn't the same person.
Right, but can you confirm? Because I'm like 99% sure that was the case, that the Resident Evil 2 voice
Yeah.
actress for Ada Wong was a
Mhm.
Caucasian, which ultimately it's not like a race thing, but because I know how they sound, I just feel the authenticity of it. And I really just think the voice actress in general for Resident Evil 4 remake did a great job.
I don't
So
think
that's that.
any of the Adas. I don't think any. I think Ada's always been different in every single
Mm.
game.
Hmm,
Because I know in 6, she
interesting.
was voiced by Courtney Taylor, who did not
Interesting.
reprise her role in 2 remake.
Mm.
Okay.
Jolene Anderson plays Ada in the 2019 remake of Resident Evil 2.
Got it. So yeah, it just kind of gets under my skin even more that the one Ada Wong voice actress that people target is the actual Asian person. So,
Yeah.
um,
The voice actor looks more like Pat.
interesting. Okay,
Very, white with blonde hair
got
and
it.
you know, very white.
Very fitting.
Hairy
Mm.
face.
Yeah, that too.
But
Mhm.
to on the more like just like objective, I guess side of it, it still looks great, sounds great. For me, it felt great. It felt like a mini version of the original game, but played by a different character, fleshing out the before, middle, and end. And the grappling hook was a great touch. So overall, I felt like this was a solid DLC.
Yeah. Just one more quick thought. I thought it was kind of better paced. The one thing I guess I could say that I and this is kind of dumb because it's a $10 DLC, but I wish there would have been some kind of environment change, even though like I know it's taking place at the same time, but I wish you could have gone like one new place to like
Mm.
explore or something. It
Mhm.
it just kind of felt like I've been in here before, and like I get it, it's DLC. That's just like a small nitpick and doesn't even matter really in the grand scheme of things. But that's what I think I would have liked to seen more was just something new.
That's a fair point
Mhm.
because at first I was wondering why Ada was escaping the castle or getting out of the castle. Then she had to go back into the castle. I mean, there was a story reason to it, but I'm like, I could have just stayed in that castle the whole time.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
I mean they did. I did notice there were some new set pieces, especially when they got into the castle and the island. There were some new pieces. They probably couldn't do it well in the village because we literally explored everything in the village as Leon, so
Hmm.
there wasn't
Yeah.
anything
Hmm.
new that could be done. But I do remember some of the puzzles, like the room with the not the chalices, the bottles of wine was definitely
Oh,
brand new.
yes.
The sewers was a new touch to the game. The sewers under the
Oh,
castle, and also
hmm.
the lab that was underneath the comps building in the island was definitely a
Oh.
new
Hmm.
area.
Hmm.
But yeah, it would have been nice to see some new settings, maybe.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to
Hmm.
say, I guess.
Yeah.
Hey, epic screenshot, which is also the background on my Facebook profile at the moment, was when you're Ada and you're trying to escape that grotesque monster in the lab in the basement, and you have all those
Hmm.
lasers, and you're going through the lasers. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, what a nod to the first Resident Evil movie, the lasers.
Yep.
Oh man,
No, that
uh,
that grid was exactly the first Resident Evil movie.
yeah, yeah. That was a nice touch. Gotta give it to them for that. Not that I'm a big fan of that movie, but
Oh,
still,
come on. That's how pretty much 85% of the cast died, was just right there in that room.
I know.
And then you maybe
Oh, we
had
don't
like
have the
two
budget to
died from.
pay you guys anymore. We're gonna create a scene that you're just all gonna die.
We're not going to have you get all chomped up by zombies and creatures. We're just going to have you sliced up to ribbons by a laser.
Yeah. Oh man, dude, that CG in that scene is so bad. Oh man. All right, so
Steph, watch the original Resident Evil.
I
with
don't
Mila
It's
know.
on
Jovovich.
Netflix. I watched the
I don't
first two, and they're not very good. So.
What,
know.
the second one was awesome.
Oh,
Apocalypse?
you mean Nemesis in a giant rubber suit that's clearly fake?
And it's got Jill Valentine's. Yeah, that was the best
Sure,
one.
but and it's got the one black guy who's like got the gold guns or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
What?
That one
He-
had character, okay?
he's
Okay.
supposed to be the comic relief.
Oh.
Oh
Yep.
man, and then the detectives get murdered in the woods. Oh
Oh no.
man,
Anyway.
it's so bad that it's funny, in my opinion.
Stars.
Anyways, let's talk about some spoiler stuff. Pat, I'm gonna lean on you for this because you're the best storyteller.
What? Okay. So, we start off in a prison setting, under a castle. We see Luis wanting to smoke a cigarette, I think. No, he was just kind of looking around and,
He was
see.
dancing.
Yeah,
That's right, he was dancing.
I was like, why is he dancing? Like, it was really
Because
interesting.
he's Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
He was doing the traditional Spanish tango in a
Yeah,
jail cell.
he can tango with me any day. Hey.
I bet if you saw the original Luis, you'd say otherwise.
I saw a picture. Nope, I'm good.
The original one was just like, okay. Anyways, yeah, so he's dancing, and these guards are just finished killing off some dude that they ran into, or that they just killed. No reason. And they're coming up
no
to
reason.
grab him. They do it because they can.
Yeah,
So then they're coming up to grab Luis from his cell, and one of these silent maidens, the women who dress in all white and cover their face, all of a sudden starts attacking the cultist guards,
Hmm.
and that's when you find out that it's none other than Ada Wong.
And she's here for the amber. Do you have it,
Yes,
Louise? And of course, Louise, in his fast talking nature, he doesn't have it yet.
shocker.
hmm But you should have seen him how he was able to hide it beforehand, right? Right? Which of course we don't see, but he bragged
Yeah.
about it.
He bragged about it.
Mm-hmm.
I So one thing about Ada's like her voice in this, like I don't know why people don't like it. I actually like the soft spoken kind of aggressive tone that it has. Like it's kind of like
Well, she's blunt. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like she talks like as if she's just bored with the situation.
yeah,
Because she's down to business. She's like, come on, dude, let's just go get it.
yeah,
It's
uh,
like, the parameters. Stop fucking with me.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the scene where you get like the creepy bug people too,
Mm-hmm.
and like
Yep.
man, they got the bug faces, and then like their claws, just like their hands are just like long, sharp fingers, and like the purple smoke, like kind of throws you off a little bit.
Well, it is just one bug creature. This is one of the hands. I believe it's in the lore. It's the housekeeper. Is this one? Where the other one was, I believe, the butler. Like, this is
Yeah.
the female housekeeper version of the two bodyguards of Roman Salazar.
Mm,
And because I was wondering why, like, you only see one most of the time during Leon's, because the other one's chasing after Ada in this game.
yeah.
Leon had the red robe, Ada has the black robe.
Hmm.
Anyways, this bug creature, comes up like when they're trying to escape the castle. A weird mist comes about, and we don't know it yet, but the bug creature did something to Ada. And Ada's starting to kind of have like headaches and can't concentrate, and hallucinizing that there's like 100 of these bug creatures when there's really only one.
Yeah. Well, that's what that purple smoke did, right? Was like
hmm
make her hallucinate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I forget if she got hit first before the purple smoke, but somewhere along the line, the creature infected her.
Yeah, which is, it kind of confused me a little bit because Until now, I thought the only way to be infected by Las Plagas is to have the parasite injected or put into you.
That's the thing.
Cons-
She didn't have a Las Plagas.
oh,
That was a
maybe I.
different. She got whatever that creature was.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they were all part of Las Plagas.
Now, if
Mm-mm.
you read research notes, you find out this person was studying ways to kind of reproduce and,
I
it,
did read method. I don't know. Then maybe I misunderstood. So thanks for clarifying. That makes a lot more sense now.
yeah.
Because I just I don't know.
Because unlike the Las Plagas, if the note said that if the host dies, or the host parasite or whatever, the
Yep.
main body
Yep.
dies, then the parasite inside also goes away.
Got it.
So,
All right. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. So we're talking about that hallucination part is where you first kind of fight it a little, fight this guy a little bit, right?
yep.
I found this to actually be very challenging, not in a complaint way, but it was like for a first boss fight of the DLC, he was definitely a bullet sponge, and I kept getting hit by all the clones. It's like, damn it, and I
Yeah.
ran out of bullets.
Yeah. I just kind of had to I kept like dodging and like trying to run away, and then the purple smoke came out. It was this encounter to me kind of feels like the when you like the Horizon Zero Dawn DLC, because like the first kind of big monster you fight in that is like incredibly difficult if you haven't been playing for a while. And
Mm,
because I mean that DLC came out what, like a year later or something. And I just remember at that point when I hadn't played for like a good while, and then I go play that DLC, and it's like, oh, there's a robot bear, and he just murdered me. So that's kind of reminded me of that, and I was like, oh, I haven't played Resident Evil since like, when did we do this? May,
mm-hmm.
April, May
hmm
ish.
Yep.
So, and I played like 1,000 games since then. Not 1,000,
Yep.
but you know what I mean. But uh, I forgot all the controls, and that was like the big thing.
Yeah, you know what? I was thinking the same thing during that first fight. And I think that's another reason why I did so poorly. Because I was like, I was hitting buttons based off of other games I've been playing since RE4, and yeah, it's a learning curve. Didn't take long, but yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't quite have the same control scheme as other games do with like run buttons and pushing a button you think is dodge and you open up your briefcase by mistake and
Hmm.
things like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing I kept doing was I kept doing a quick turnaround when I meant to do something else, and then when I realized I did a quick turnaround, I would motion Ada the opposite way that I was intending because I did the quick turnaround.
hmm
So most of the times I would do a quick turnaround and run right into the enemy instead of away from the enemy.
Yep.
But that's
Yeah.
me.
hmm
Yeah.
All right. So eventually you beat the black robe creature, otherwise known as the Persanta,
Hmm.
is the name of that one. Vertigo is the name of the red one. So then you manage to escape the castle,
Yep.
and Louise tells you, "Hey, meet me at the church." So your first mission is to kind of work your way through the village to get to the church, and then you
Yeah.
wait.
Yeah. Um, I thought that, or well, I guess we'll talk about them when we get to the village thing. But like getting to the church was like, I don't know. This was the first part where I like felt like I've done this a little bit before, I think. Uh, but still, I mean, the whole combat and like the exploring that area was, interesting, because I think you're kind of going backwards through the
Yeah.
game.
hmm
Uh, and so like going through it backwards was like, oh, this is interesting, like,
And that was also one of the only areas I think that was new to the village, because you were essentially doing the high ground,
mhm.
uh, getting into the village proper.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, then you get to the church. Luis is obviously not at the church. There are some fun things though, like if you go around to one of the windows, you can hear a girl crying inside there.
yeah,
Yep.
Um, but then she decides to keep working her way, and sees she manages to see an old friend kind of running around.
Hmm.
and he's in a little bit of a trouble spot.
Yeah. Shocker.
Yep. We're talking about Leon and being chased around the village.
Mm-hmm.
So she develops her conscience and remembers reading something about this bell
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm.
signals that Sadler, the cult leader, is at the church, and everyone drops everything to see Sadler. Like he is the most reverent being of all of
All
the
beings.
entire of all beings, and people want to come by and just see him and listen to him and bathe in his glory.
Mm-hmm.
So Ada manages to get herself over to a tower, a bell tower, and she rings the bell, which signals bingo night.
Which was a really cool nod to like, obviously you think like when you're playing Resident Evil 4, you just think the bell rings or whatever.
Because it's just time for the bell to ring. Yeah, I love that
Yeah.
connection.
But it's also a nice nod to like if you're in the village and you shoot the bell as Leon, that it skips that whole part and they just start walking towards it.
What?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I need to do that next time.
Is
Yeah,
there going to be a next time, Stephanie?
I might actually. This might be a game that
just to
I'm.
see the bell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. She turns it on just to shoot the bell and she's like, "Ha." She turns it off.
done. No, I believe it or not, that's the kind of game where I kind of want to get a better grade because you
Mm-hmm.
get the grade at the end. Like very few games make me want to redo it so I could be better.
Mm-hmm.
Haha, be better.
Ah.
I see what you did there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
So,
then. Oh yeah, go ahead, Pat.
go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, I was going to ask if the next portion was making her way to oh crap, his name escaped me. The like the head of the village,
Not
priest
quite.
guy. Okay.
I'm trying to remember if you were directed to go to the factory first, but you eventually like. What's cool is after you ring the bell, you'll see the people start walking in the graveyard. They
Mm-hmm.
will ignore you, which is awesome. Like you
Yeah.
don't have to go and fight them because there's a hell of a lot of them, and they will just ignore you. They'll walk past you. You can literally walk in front of them. They don't give a shit.
Mhm.
But then you walk into the village, and the village starts getting a little misty,
Mm.
Mm,
and
Mm.
like not like the white mist. We're talking the purple
no.
mist.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one, whew, I wasn't expecting to fight our old buddy Bugface so soon. This one was a little tough for me because again, I was kind of struggling with managing my ammo. So
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I almost feel like ammo was more scarce in this than it was in the main campaign a lot of the time.
I don't know. I didn't have too much of an issue with ammo, but I also used some guns that I don't normally use this time around, like the
Mm.
rifle and the TMP.
Mm.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. Um, yeah, I mean, fighting Bugface was. I feel like the space was a little bit smaller too, which made it more
Yeah,
frantic. I guess more intense. I guess you would say. Um,
and I could weren't there like no, was there an occasional villager in that fight as well? Because I feel like
I don't think they were villagers, but he did summon clones again, or she
oh,
did summon
okay,
clones again. And these ones did not die after a shot or two.
okay.
yeah. Uh, oh, we didn't talk about the first encounter with Wesker.
Yeah, I just thought about that. That was that. I think that happened in the clock, or in
It's
the.
it's right before getting to the village,
Mm-hmm.
because Wesker inform when you get to the either like right before the village or right when you get to the village, Wesker informs Ada that Ashley is what the enemies are, what your enemies are looking for.
That's right. Ignore Leon, you know,
Yeah.
because Ashley is in the village, and that's why the whole village is going crazy right now.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Also, is this the bug guy fight where Ada like kind of gets kind of dizzy or whatever the first time?
She does get dizzy again. But this is like the last bug fight for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because after you finish this, you get told to check the villa over the Chief Mendez's villa.
Mendez, that's who it is. All right,
Mhm.
that's what's next. Mendez, yeah.
Yeah. So you
Uh,
end up going there, and you run into your old boy Leon again, being chokehold,
Mm.
one-handed by Chief Mendez. And so you do the scene where she's on a grappling hook and she shoots through the window, hitting Mendez's hat off.
Mm. She likes Leon. She plays hard to
uh,
get, but they're making babies at some point.
oh no, like the whole sexual tension with them is incredible. And I get it. If you're like a double, triple, quadruple agent and you got to keep your distance, but I don't know. I feel
Mhm.
like when we'll get to the end, when we get to the end, I'm like, you know what? She played too hard to get that she lost an opportunity
Yeah.
to get it on.
Part
Now
of that
Leon's a
also was the
pedophile.
history with 2. Because 2 is where she betrays Leon.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, there's a bit of hurt feelings there and a little bit of like kind of keeping your distance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm well, she's at Chief Leon's, or
Chief
Chief
Leon.
Chief
Chief
Leon.
Leon. Afterwards, she gets back into the house, and she gets chokeholded. Also,
A lot of
um,
choking in this.
Hmm.
Hmm.
was she choked right away, or did the bug just affect her first?
I
And
I think
then the
that
chief chases you, right?
yeah, I think she kind of gets dizzy first. That's what I
Okay.
have in my notes here.
Yeah, she gets dizzy, she passes out, and then this is where we finally meet Wesker in the flesh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm like, dude, how did he just like show up in the middle of this villa unharmed out of nowhere? And if that's the case, why is he walkie talking with her? Like, just be there in person. Like, he's just like kind of in and out.
Yeah. Well, he's like I guess spoilers for what, 5? He's just chilling on his like giant yacht ship thing, right? Like his
hmm
mobile base or whatever.
Yeah, he's got plans. So I think he's enacting something else, but he's there kind of as backup and just in case
Hmm.
Ada fails. Like, he's usually someone that has backup plans, Wesker.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's the reason why he's very tenacious. But it's actually cool to see him in person, and you're kind of wondering what he was doing with that vial.
Hmm.
My
Yeah.
guess is he took a sample from Ada while she was unconscious,
Hmm.
poking her without her consent.
Yeah, I don't
Seemed
know.
like
I
a,
just still don't get it because I can't imagine it'd be that easy just to enter and leave that village undetected. Just saying.
Hmm.
well, again, spoilers for 5. Wesker's not quite human
Oh,
and
Yeah.
has things like super speed, and
Yeah.
he
oh,
could probably get by very fast and honestly could probably take out the whole village by himself if he really wanted to.
Yeah. The whole
oh.
island,
Okay.
probably.
hmm
Never
Wesker is a
mind.
fucking superhuman. Um,
Unless you're
and
playing Resident Evil 5 and the AI just distracts him and he just walks real slow towards them.
yeah, but like in 5, if you like in the actual battle against Wesker, your shots will miss because he's just that damn fast. Like,
Okay.
even though you aim straight at him, like it's the animation, like you'll
Oh,
matrix dodge.
interesting. Well, the context helps because I just like didn't get it. But okay,
Hmm.
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Um, So he sends Zeta on his way. He points out that they typically use a factory to hide like the hostages and stuff. So he sends Ada that way to see if she can find Luis in the factory.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And does she find Luis in that factory? No,
No.
but she finds his cigarettes.
Hmm. Oh yeah,
Hmm.
because she's like,
hmm
he's gonna be needing one of these or something. She makes some kind of poppy joke about it.
Yep.
Um,
She finds the cigarettes, and on the cigarettes is a radio frequency where she finally can. She radios and finally gets a hold of Louise and says, "Hey, we need to meet up."
yeah. because she needs the cure, right? Like
no, she
not the
needs the
cure,
amber.
but
She doesn't know she's infected.
Not yet. Yeah.
oh, this isn't that yet. Okay,
Yeah.
That's when she has that conversation later with
yeah,
Luis.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, Luis
okay.
is like, hey, I have to, help these guys here.
Mm-hmm.
So meet me over in this spot over here, and
Mm-hmm.
we'll talk.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you eventually do meet him at that spot over there.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And that spot over there is where Luis lets Ada know that she's infected.
Yeah.
Like, I can see it in your eyes. You aren't, you need a cure
Yeah.
just as much as Leon and Ashley need the cure.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I have medicine.
I feel like it kind of makes me sad that if she was never infected, she probably wouldn't have let Luis go help them, which is
Hmm.
weird because even though she plays hard to get, I do feel like she actually genuinely cares if Leon dies or not. But
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of her that I think feels bad that she betrayed Leon at some point. You know.
Yeah. I think I fast forward a bit too much because we missed the boss fight.
Mm.
Uh, Before she meets up with Luis, she sees Leon again in trouble, and she's trying to help him as Luis and Leon are fighting in a house that's being overrun by all the infected villagers. And when she's about ready to
Oh
go there, she finds out that they're about to release a giant,
yes,
Gigante.
Gi-
Hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That one was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, I also ran out of ammo there, but I was able to grapple hook like up and down houses. Like that was a ton of fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Grappling hook. Who knew? Who knew that would be fun in a Resident Evil game?
Gosh, who
Which,
knew?
by the way, I should have looked more carefully when I was with the merchant. I was like, "Oh, I don't want any of these stupid little keychain things." For not realizing that they were buffs, and one of them was a super important buff, more for later in the game though. And I think it was the Ada Wong chain because that will allow you to rip shields off of
Mm-hmm.
enemies with a grappling hook, which is super big.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very helpful, especially when you got to the island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you're zipping around, you're fighting the Gigante, and you manage to beat the Gigante in the village, and then that's where you run into Luis later.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And then he's like, "Hey, we have to go to the castle. That's where all my stuff is and this medicine. So let's quickly go over there. Once I get that, I can get you your amber. But we need to take care of this fast."
Hmm.
Hmm.
So you go back to the castle, and immediately the castle's on fire, particularly where Luis's old lab in the castle is.
Yeah.
And he no longer has the medicine. He almost kills himself jumping into the flames, and Ada's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
uh,
That's where you had to chase after him like in a certain time, right?
Yeah, you
You
had
yeah.
know
like a minute to run through the fire and find him.
You know
Yeah.
how many times I failed that? And that's you think it's like why would that be why would you fail that so easy? But I kept going the wrong way where I ended up back where I started. I'm like, "What the
Yeah. It was tricky. I think I failed once or twice. Um,
I don't
I
think I
mean, I definitely
failed, but
failed once, but
the timer was pretty darn close to
mhm.
the end when I reached it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh, and then
And
Ada has to carry Luis to safety.
yep. And then Luis is depressed because, the one time he tried to do something right, he failed. And Ada had to slap some sense into him and be like, "Listen, you are Luis. Just make the fucking medicine again."
Hmm.
And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I can do that."
Yeah, this is the part where you have to go find all the ingredients, right?
Yep.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
little mini fetch quest, which actually was actually pretty fun. At first, I kind of groaned. I'm like, "Oh, one of these,"
Uh,
but no, it was kind of fun.
yeah, I kind of grown too because I thought like it was going to be a lot longer than it was.
Yeah,
I thought we would have to go like through the castle and there's going to be some like jump scares or enemies that you're like, oh, I got to fight this enemy to get the ingredient, but it never turned out to be that way. So
Mm-hmm. Yep. So you ran around the castle. You had to find a few different things. I forget what the first one was.
ink,
Okay, thank you. The ink,
red ink.
a special kind of red ink.
Hmm.
And then the second thing was some powder that was, or maybe distilled alcohol that was in some sort of golden uh,
Bottle.
bottle, and
And
then the
then there's
final,
the butterfly.
the blue butterfly.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And Ada started using some new tricks on this, where she examined footprints
Yeah.
to kind of figure out where people went. Is interesting little feature. I didn't feel it was completely necessary, but you know,
Yeah, if it was a little add-on, I mean, I didn't mind a change up in puzzle elements because I think you need to see how the footsteps go exactly to get the right order of things. And I think a little later she'll use the same technology to determine like passcodes to a keypad, and you have to pick the numbers depending on like how much of the fingerprint you see.
that is correct.
Hmm.
That is correct. And finally, she gets all the ingredients and she runs into Luis, and Luis mixes that medicine up really good, and he gives Ada one. Well, he does two things first. Not only does he have the medicine, he also has his amber, like he promised.
Hmm.
Yep.
And when he's handing her the medicine, he gives her the amber first, and the second that she touches it, the parasite in her freaks out, and she drops it, and Luis is like, you know what, I should probably hold on to this until you can. And so then she takes the medicine, and yeah, they end up going their separate ways
Mhm.
for a little
Is it
bit.
around that time though where we reached the last bug fight, or are we almost there?
We're almost there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember exactly what, like, they go their separate ways because Luis wants to go
Help
and give the
Leon.
medicine, help Leon. Um, and then like you follow after them shortly. Why did you have to go a separate way? What did you do again?
Didn't
I
you?
thought the bug was in pursuit. The bug man was in pursuit, and she's like, "Go!" And then you just followed after him. I don't know.
Um.
Because you end up like almost immediately going right back and chasing after Luis
Hmm.
after.
Yeah. I forget. I forget what happens. I'm trying to look at my notes to see if I can remember. Um. I don't know. I just put they split up in my
Yeah.
notes. Because then you find Leon and they kind of do their little fight dance or whatever.
Oh, they did that kind of while searching for the ingredients, I thought. Ah,
Oh,
man. This is making for great entertainment here.
I know. I just
yeah.
forget. I forget.
Yeah.
I
Needless to
forgot that their
say,
fight
they're
dance
separate.
was yeah.
Yeah. They're separate, and you kind of go on a different path. Uh, uh, I believe you hear that they went into the underground passages, and so you're trying to catch up, and you take your own different way through the underground passages. You go through the sewers. You you don't really go through much of a mine, but you kind of run into your little bug friend again.
Yeah.
Mm,
And this is where you have your fight against Pasanta in her true form,
Hmm.
because not she can't really control you too much right now. The medicine's kind of taking effect, and so she derobes and she turns into this weird. It's almost like an earwig,
mm,
scorpion thing. And if you played the original Resident Evil 4, this is very reminiscent of the U3 boss that doesn't show up in the new version, in the remake version of the game.
Hmm.
And this was a boss that could not be beat. It was more of a puzzle, and then once you had to like go through this or hanging cage, and then drop the hanging cage with it into a chasm. But that's not the case with this fight. You're actually fighting it, and this was I thought a really cool fight. Like, I liked the new this new version. I like that you could dodge most of the attacks.
Yeah.
And then, like, what did you guys think of this fight?
I didn't get to do much with it because I just shot it with a rocket launcher because I'm a cop out.
Yeah. I
Oh,
look any anytime I could use a rocket launcher, that's what I was using on the big bosses. So sorry, Pat. We blow stuff up.
Well,
We're
you're only
blowing
allowed to
shit
have
up.
you're only allowed to have one rocket launcher, so that must have made the second half of this fight a pain in the ass.
Sure, but you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you think the creature is dead, but then it surprises you. It rips off like half its body and becomes more of a centipede.
Yeah, gross. Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably like one of the grosser parts of the game for me. Dude, centipedes are gross. I don't need that crawling around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't need it. Yuck.
Well, this also was a particularly fun fight. It loved to burrow into the ground. It had a very glaring weakness in its chest as well as its butt.
Yeah.
A quick,
Touch the
didn't mean to
butt.
butt in, but but I was kind of right. Because it was bothering me. After you after you collect all the ingredients and meet up with Louise, you are separated once more by the arrival of the black robe. So I think the the that bug person was just sensing them, and it wasn't a fight yet. He was just on his way.
Yeah.
So she was like, "Go, go, go!" So sorry.
Okay, so she was chasing after the black bug guy. Well, the black bug guy was chasing after Leon and Luis, and finally you catch up to the black bug guy. You fight the black bug guy. Then you also kind of hear from a radio announcement that Luis got injured, and that you're trying to get there back to him in time, but it doesn't work out because of the black bug guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Rip Luis again.
Yep, you get to hear him die on the radio.
Oh, what a way to go.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what happened to Luis. What happened to him?
He got stabbed by Krauser.
Right. I
Krauser,
forgot
yeah.
Krauser was. Oh, man. I forgot.
Yep. Instead of being stabbed by the pointy penis of Sadler from the original game. Because it comes like it's one of those like pointy arms comes from like under Sadler's robe and like stabs Luis.
Right.
Yeah, that was not a good way to go. This one felt a little more honorable. And he also makes mention just before he passes away that Luis has the amber, or that Luis Krauser has the amber along with Ashley. So Ada's job is to quickly run and try and catch up to Luis.
You mean Krauser?
Krauser, yep.
Dude, Krauser is a fast little motherfucker.
I know.
Just hopping and jumping and running everywhere. I'm like, dude, I'm in heels.
Like, he's so powerful and so fast, but he's just a little bitch. He's like a minion of these people. I'm like, God, what a loser.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was also part of the storyline. It's like, he's like, oh, this is the ultimate power. And everyone's like, no, you're just a pawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny. Like, you're chasing Krauser and you see like Leon confronting Salazar. And it's amazing how fast Leon dispatched him, because it feels like you get to the boat just before Krauser left, and then Leon's like right there behind you.
Yeah.
It's like, really? Because that fight took me like 5 minutes to kick Salazar down.
Oh,
but
man.
they get together and they're like, let's drive to this island.
I know, I like that moment. I'm like, ooh, let's smooch. Even though they didn't.
I was waiting for it.
No smoochy smooch.
No, it's definitely probably super awkward, if anything.
Nah. It's the best. The best.
Yep. So she drops Leon off at one point, or
no, she uses her grappling hook.
That's right. At a certain point in the island, she uses her grappling hook and gets off the boat, lets Leon have the rest of the boat, and when she's at where she is on the island, she meets up again with Wesker.
Yeah.
Who is very disappointed in her.
Yeah. By the way, can we just say how badass it is to use a grappling hook to get off a moving boat?
Yeah.
Maybe he slowed down, but still.
Yeah.
Nah, I mean,
that's what I want to do when I want to get out of a situation. Bye, guys. Pew!
Yeah.
In a moving boat, you just latch on to whatever just happens to be there. Because clearly grapple hooks go right through pure rock.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Come on.
Where have you been?
I don't know. I guess I'd use the wrong grappling hook.
Well, I know what to get you for Christmas.
Sweet. I'll have fun with that.
Oh
And
God.
anyways, so she meets up with Sadler or Wesker, and Wesker is like, "I'm disappointed in you. You know, we still need to get the Amber, but I have this new mission for you. Do not screw this up,
Hmm.
because I could like kill you if I wanted to right
Which,
now."
once again, I'm sorry to be that person, but if Wesker really is this superhuman, powerful person, why doesn't he freaking do this all himself? You just do it yourself then.
I honestly think he's just kind of hiding right now. Like he doesn't want to visibly show himself.
Hmm.
Or
Okay.
that's one theory. Or the other theory is Sadler could have probably taken advantage of him.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um.
Because that's two super dudes then duking it out. And as we could see with Sadler, Sadler could regenerate.
Yeah.
Okay. Good point.
Hmm.
Um,
Sadler. Gross.
yeah. So he hands her a briefcase and says, "Go to the comm center and hook this up."
Hmm.
So this is interesting because you're starting on the opposite side of the island that Leon does. So you're coming essentially from the temple side,
Hmm.
going through the factory, and then working your way to like the warfront area.
Hmm.
Um, Inside the factory, we do get to run into some of our favorite little creatures,
Gross.
the regenerators.
Nope. Oh gosh. Like, because weren't there like the freezer area, and
Mm-hmm.
as soon as I saw that in the map, I'm like, I'm gonna have to deal with those guys again. And I struggled. I ran out of rifle ammo, and that's really the only gun that will quote unquote work because it's got the heat sensor. Because if you don't have the heat
Mm-hmm.
sensor, you're just shooting blindly. I was like, F. There's one point where I ran out. I had a regenerator, and he was doing that weird floppy thing on the ground. I'm like, oh my gosh! And then I ran, and guess what was in my way? An Iron Maiden.
Oh, neat.
That was
So,
in the kitchen.
yep, I barely made it out alive of that one.
Yeah, that was fun. Now, again, the regenerator like comes in a very frightening manner because like if you played the original, you know the regenerators in that area, but then when you first come into it, you're walking into a room and then all of a sudden a door opens and it just walks right into it with this smiling ass, sharp teeth and its flubby little body that, bounces around as it chases you and it's,
You know
it's
what reminds me of the regenerator, if that game had excellent graphics and modern day whatever? Dead Hand from Ocarina of Time. Like, it's
very,
Mm.
Dead
very
Hand.
similar. Very similar. Like just
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Why do you got to
And
do that, man?
well, the creepy thing for me was one time like I got behind it and while I was staring at its backside, the head was turning and facing me. It's like, fuck, this thing has no bones. Like
Oh.
that was the creepy moment for me. And it's like I gotta kill you fast.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
Yeah, just the red eyes, the smiling, like razor sharp teeth as the head turns exorcist style.
Nope. I could not get out of that section fast enough. That was probably the only time where I actually turned on a guide because I did not want any jump scares with them. I wanted the best, fastest, if most efficient route out of there.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Well, I ended up going back in there again because I've had that mission to find the two scarab jewels. I'm
Ah.
like, I thought like killing the little like beast creature in the lab afterwards with the stupid gun. I hate those guys so much because they kill you. Like if you get into the line of fire, you're instantly dead with the chain gun guys.
Oh,
The
mhm,
pigs
yeah.
with the gun hand.
Oh, I hate. Oh, those are annoying.
Yeah. And when I killed him, I realized that the gem was they most likely did the gem like they did with another side quest in the original game, and that the gem was probably with a regenerator. So I shoot the only
Yeah.
impact tube, and sure enough, the regenerator
It was in
slides
there.
out, and you see in the heat wave, the gem is somewhere inside the body.
I'm like, of course you would put that in there. Of course.
Yeah, at least it wasn't an
The
Iron Maiden
body.
this time.
Mm.
Yeah. So yeah,
Good times.
that's the fun regenerator part, and then you get out into the warfield with the turrets that also turned you into Swiss cheese really fast.
Yeah.
That was actually a pretty fun part, trying to outrun the turrets in the battlefield,
Mm.
and then going in and finding
Yes.
that little hole and shooting the barrel that just was neatly placed right next to the turret.
Mm.
Yeah, rule of thumb, if you're setting up war machines, try not to put explosives right next to it. It's just good practice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seems like a good idea.
Yeah, this was fun, although I don't know, by that point I was just getting sloppy or lazy because when you reach certain checkpoints, quote unquote, there, like you reach your first turret to explode, like a whole wave of enemies will come at you.
Mm-hmm.
Which you think, oh, not a big deal, but you just gotta make sure you have enough room. You're always running, and then right when you think you've shot them all, you've got one of those boar-headed gun shooty things or whatever.
Yep.
Gun
No,
shooty
they
things.
loved using those guys in this area.
Yes.
Hmm. Well, eventually you get to the communications tower, and while you're there, she kind of understands that. Well, no, she doesn't understand that yet. You run into you realize they were doing some very interesting experiments in this lab underneath the communications tower, and
Mm.
that's where you run into I think it's Mercutio.
Yeah, very.
There was a note about a test subject that became very hard to kill and manage. So they basically said, we're just gonna keep this thing in the room and hope to God that the lasers don't ever turn off.
Hmm.
And of course, you end up having to go through that room and running into this indestructible creature that looks something like a Rancor from Star Wars.
Yeah, but fast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's your usual chase scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
yep. And if you get caught, of course, it will eat you.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
happened before.
What would you rather?
Uh,
What would you rather happen to you though? Would you rather get cut into a million shards from a laser, or would you rather that creature eat you?
a million shards from a laser. I think that'd be
I feel like that
faster.
would be quick
Yeah.
because if
That
that thing just, yeah.
Yeah, that would at least hit some vital organ like your heart or your brain, which are considered insta kills. Whereas the creature itself, you're probably alive for a good 15 to 30 seconds.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's fair.
Yep. But eventually, you end up turning the power on in this place. You find the communication center deep inside this lab, and you find out that Wesker isn't just tapping into a communication system. He's downloading data and destroying the island. It is set to
Hmm.
blow in 99 minutes and 99 seconds.
Mm.
Very interesting time frame, but whatever.
I don't know. You got to
So,
use those numbers, man.
yep. So while
Very
you have
nice
to
of
make
them,
your
by the way, to give you an hour and a little over an hour and a half to get off the island. It's a lot of time.
yeah,
Right.
that's true. That's true. He even sends a helicopter in the end. That was nice of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can see it's
Hmm.
again. It's so cute. You can kind of see her concern, her indirect concern
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
for Leon.
Yeah.
and just the island in general. It's he's gonna destroy this whole place. And
Yeah.
so she does a little Ada magic on the things. You don't know what quite happened just yet, and you won't find out until the end of the game what she did. But then she has to escape this facility, and that's where she
Mhm.
runs into the creature, and the creature in the laser room.
Yes.
And that's where we get to see the creature get sliced up into little Swiss cheese in a
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
cool laser dodging scenario.
Yeah. It was very satisfying, and I know some people have their issues with quick time events, but this was small. It's fine. It was just cool.
Just
Yeah.
push X at the right time, and they give you
Yeah.
plenty of time to do it.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, it was very forgiving, thankfully.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So now it's on to we have to get the amber and we have to save Leon. So
Oh yeah.
she gets back to the other side of the island, and she's there. She runs into the part where Sadler's just about ready to take full control over Leon and Ashley, and turn them into minions. And that's where she shoots Sadler in the face
In the
and
face.
several times with the TMP.
Mhm.
And that's where that's where Leon is saved once again by Ada, and that's also where we see Sadler like drop all the bullets like after he like punches them out of his body, which kind of was cool. You
Yeah.
know, very
Mhm.
Matrixy, but cool. And so Leon and Ashley go to get the parasites removed, and she goes back and fights Sadler so she can get the amber, and make sure that Sadler can't follow them. And so we run into a new version of a Sadler fight.
Yeah.
The
He's
big
got
bug with the
tentacles.
eyeball.
No, not yet. He's human form, but with like
Oh,
tentacles.
right. Yeah.
Yep.
I moved too
And
far ahead.
you move too far, and so you're fighting this guy took a lot of ammo.
Yeah.
Like this guy I used up like all the ammo I had, and then some that was all scattered around the room. And I managed to get lucky, and like I think I had a couple handgun bullets left, and I managed to finally like score that winning blow. But what did you guys think of this fight? I thought it was kind of hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, not to be a cop out, but I also used a rocket launcher for this fight.
Oh god,
I
how
didn't
many rocket launchers did you have?
2. The whole game I was able to purchase 2 and use 2.
um I thought it was hard. I was saving my rocket launcher because I know at the end of the main campaign Ada uses a rocket launcher, so I'm like, do I need to keep this? Am I
Is it gonna
gonna
give me the bad ending if I don't have it?
Yeah, I was not sure I was gonna get one at the end, so I was like, I'm gonna keep this for that fight. But then of course you get one, and then you're like, oh, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this fight it was a little difficult. I mean, I'm not great at boss fights anyway, but I died a couple times.
He hits hard,
Yeah,
and for me, the worst one was when he like projectiles that like spit.
yeah.
That for me, like no, that wasn't the worst. The worst was when he like shoots bullets at you.
Ooh.
The
Yeah,
thing I think the thing that made it super hard though is that Ada is so squishy,
she
and
is.
like she can't take hits. Like I mean, Leon couldn't really take hits either, but this is
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
like 2 hits and you're dead, or if they get one good hit on you, you're like in the red.
Mm-hmm.
So
The nice thing about this fight, though, is Sadler telegraphs his moves quite easily, so
mhm.
you know whether or not you need to dodge, evade, or if you can like parry it with a knife. Um, but eventually you win, and you shove a pillar, like you knock a pillar down onto him, and you go and you find, um, well, you shove the pillar. Yeah, you land a pillar on him, but he's still alive. Like you're talking on the radio and you see the tentacle kind of move up and
Mhm.
smack Ada, and then she wakes up tied to the like the dock pillar,
Mhm.
and then gets
Oh,
saved by Leon.
Attaboy, Leon.
That's right.
it's a great ending sequence that we're about to head into.
Yeah.
Yep. Now Sadler is going to turn into his big old bug form.
Yeah. Bug Sadler.
Yep, the big old
Goma
eyeball in the
Sadler.
mouth.
Goma Sadler, yes.
Mm-hmm. And Leon is the one who's taking over this battle. Ada is trying to find a solution to save Leon, and she sees these minions walking around with munitions, particularly a shiny new rocket launcher with a red rocket attached to it.
Oh God, red rocket.
Which means it's got to be a special rocket. And if you actually read the memo, it's like a special armor-piercing rocket. Is what made this red cap special, and it was red so people would know that it was
Danger.
Mm-hmm. So
regular rocket launchers are fine to play with, but not the red one.
Nope, this is a very unique and probably the only one of its kind rocket. So we need to use it for only special occasions, such as
Yes.
blowing up gigantic monstrosities.
Yeah, and you need to basically fight your way kind of toward it in a time limit, which that kind of stuff I don't like. I get very stressed. The first time I failed because I kept getting swarmed by enemies. Some of them actually had regular rocket launchers. I'm like, damn it!
A hell of a lot of them had regular rocket launchers. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But yeah. So kind of during that fight, the Sadler changes from bug form to complete mass of wriggly tentacles and whatever the hell. Like, cause I didn't realize how big that form was until you actually played Ada's version.
Yeah.
Like that thing took over like the entire platform.
Yeah. She's a lot closer to it though than Leon was too, though, because she's up in the, the structure.
Yeah, like she was looking at it from the top down. And so you managed to get the rocket launcher. You had to work your way to getting a little closer so you can hand Leon the rocket launcher, and finally you get to the cargo rail, and you move it closer. She throws Leon the rocket launcher. Leon shoots it, and it pierces all the way through the core Las Plagas that is Sadler, decimating most of the defense so that Leon can then grab the staff and then stab him with the staff.
Yeah.
With a cheesy pickup line.
Yep.
Which, by the way, I actually paid money for a physical copy of this because I thought it'd be like a nice collector's item just to look at it. But it kind of came with like bent sides, but it's just Game Informer with Leon on it. Look at his biceps.
I have that one. You could have just, not that you knew, but you could have.
Yeah, not that I knew. Gosh. Well, you have it like in paper form?
Yeah.
Now I can look at him all day. Sorry.
Yep.
Why is there a wax figure of Leon in your room, Stephanie?
I wish.
Life size.
But it's just...
Yep. So we reached the conclusion of the game. Ada gets in the helicopter and is like, "Hey, Leon,
want to
you
come
can
on?"
join me."
Yeah.
You
And
know
what he goes?
No.
I think we both know this is where we go our separate ways.
Ah.
Like,
Nice.
no, Leon.
It's okay. They meet again later.
No, he's
just
gonna
not
They
in
do?
this game. Yeah, Resident Evil 6.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, they're like Resident Evil 6 is like Ada is like portrayed as the main villain in 6.
Aw.
But she's really not.
Okay.
Whoa, twist.
I know.
Spoilers.
I'm not going to explain what the twist is.
Okay.
But she's being framed.
By Wesker. Dun,
No,
dun,
Wesker.
dun.
He's dead.
I know.
I hope if they do remake 5 and 6, well, I kind of do then, but I know 6 was kind of a tough crowd pleaser, I guess.
I liked 6. I thought it was fun.
6 was all right. 6 is clearly the longest of the Resident Evils, though, because
there's 4 campaigns.
Yeah.
Sorry.
3 full-size campaigns, and the 4th one being like an Ada byte size campaign.
Yeah.
Like this one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, there's also a post-credit scene. I don't know if we're ready to jump there yet, or is there anything else you want to...
Well, she talks to Wesker on the walkie, right? And like, or is that
this is the ending? Like she's in the helicopter, and she's we get the conversation that we got at the end of 4, the post credits of 4, where she's talking to Wesker and be like, "So, what do you plan on doing with this?" And he's like, "Oh, well, we're going to succeed in like evolutionizing human, and there's going to be some casualties. We talking hundreds, billions.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay. She takes off her headset, points a gun at the helicopter pilot, and's like, we're changing directions.
Well, why did she take off her headset? Like the helicopter pilot couldn't hear her now.
Good question. I guess he just saw the gun
Fair.
and, just understood through telepathy.
Or common sense.
Yep, common sense. And then we get the post credits to Separate Ways, which extends this ending by showing the Wesker side of things. He's on his luxury yacht that appears later in the 5th game. And he's being told that Ada has betrayed them. And should they attack? And he's like, no need. Because she has the Amber. She walks away with the Amber, or flies away with the Amber. And he's like, no need. We managed to secure something else. And he also notices that the island wasn't completely destroyed because Ada managed to, like, I guess the signal that got sent to blow up the bombs didn't quite blow up all the bombs. So only part of the island, like half of it, got destroyed. And anyway, so he's like, no need. We got what we need. Anyways, and he walks over to a table and he pulls off a cloth, and you see what remains of Krauser's body.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, was it Krauser's body? Like I know it was a body, but I was like,
Yeah, that was Krauser.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of making you question, what does he have Krauser for?
Yeah.
Because that is new information.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So are we, like, did he just manage to secure the Las Plagas from Krauser? Or is Krauser somehow going to creep back up into the 5th game?
Interesting.
I was waiting for the moment for him to take his sunglasses off and you saw his eyes, but
or just like see the red glow through it.
Yeah.
No, that did not happen.
I was waiting for it, man. I was like, this is it. This is where they're gonna show it, and they don't. It's very
where
disappointing.
it's like for the new people to be like, no, Wesker has powers.
Yeah.
But no.
So what transitioned to that scene was he was looking at your profile, and your profile shows you how well you did the campaign. Would you guys get? I was shocked. I thought I was going to get an abysmal score, but I got a B on standard.
Oh, I got like a C.
You got a C?
Yeah, dude, I suck at this standard. Game. Also, I was playing on easy, so probably knocked down a letter grade, and I still died a lot. So whatever.
Yeah, no, there's a lot tied in, like what you use, your accuracy, how many deaths, how fast. Like, I honestly, I don't know how people. Well, I guess some people just enjoy this. Like, if you play the game over and over again, I guess you could get good. But
yeah, well, there's like a trophy. I think if you get an S rank on everything or something.
There's a trophy for getting S rank on professional, which is the mode that you get after you beat it, I think, on hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Pass.
Mm-hmm.
Pass.
Yep. Oh. Well, like you said at the beginning, pretty meaty DLC.
Yeah, $10 to $9.99 is quite the deal. So if you enjoyed Resident Evil 4, you should play this game or this DLC. It's really fun, and like I said, I think I enjoyed it more than the base game. I felt like it wasn't as like, I don't know. I think because I know what the base game is now, it just didn't feel as like scary, So everybody knows I don't do them spooky games.
It definitely felt more compact. In fact, what I find funny is how this DLC is longer than Resident Evil 3, the full game was.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And it's Resident Evil 3 sold for like $40, and
I thought it was 60
like
because they had that multiplayer mode in it.
3? No.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it was 60. I believe this one was cheaper. But we're going to have someone fact check this.
I'm checking it right now.
Because I feel like if they went 60, that would have done an outcry for it being able to beat the game in like 3 hours.
Wow.
Resident Evil 3 remake, original price $59.99.
Wow.
Son of a bitch. Okay.
How would you say length of game for Resident Evil 2 remake compared to 3 and 4?
Oh, 2 would be in the middle. 2,
Yeah.
like if you go for the full story, that one's going to take you about 12 to 18 hours.
Yeah, because
When you
there's
say full, you mean both campaigns?
yeah.
Both campaigns, yeah. You have to do both campaigns because the other person does what's called a side B.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
then once you do that, you get a final conclusive ending
Hmm.
with the final boss.
Now the remake is just like like I know the intros are different, but like you do like whatever character you play as first is the A campaign, right? No matter
Mhm.
Yep.
what, and then yeah.
Yeah, and then the other character is the B campaign.
Hmm.
And it's weird how they describe it as just whatever side of the car the person got out of.
Yeah. Claire. A lot of people recommend you play as Claire first because her inventory is bigger, right?
In the original, I don't remember if the second one, if the inventory was different, but I remember in the original remake game, Jill had a smaller inventory than Chris did.
Yeah, I knew their inventories were different. I just couldn't remember whose
So
was
Jill
bigger.
was considered a hard mode.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
But the thing about the B campaign is Mr. X does start chasing you a lot earlier in that campaign.
Hmm.
Um, and I
Wait,
think
in
they have
3? Isn't it Nemesis in 3?
no 2.
Nemesis is
The
3, I
beat,
thought.
yeah, Nemesis is 3, but you're talking about the remake 2. There's an A and B campaign
Oh, right.
depending
We're
on
still
which
on
character
3.
you
In
choose
B,
Okay.
he
first.
shows up sooner.
Right.
Yeah, and B, he doesn't wait for the cutscene to show up. He's pretty much in the station when you're there, so he's gonna start chasing you earlier and for
Don't
a
like
longer
that.
duration.
Don't like that. Nope.
Yeah,
Pass.
no.
I don't like the feeling of something chasing me through this.
hmm
No.
No, Resident Evil
No
3 only
way.
had one campaign with Jill.
Mm.
And Nemesis also chases you around, but Nemesis is more scripted in his chasing.
Yeah.
So he won't chase you through certain things, but you can expect him to be, when he is in certain places, he'll be a little more randomized, like
Mhm.
with, I think, what weapon he has and where he shows up. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, any final thoughts, everyone, before we get out of here?
I want a new Resident Evil.
You think Code Veronica's next?
I would love Code Veronica to be next because that would explain Wesker more.
Yeah.
Or that's because Code Veronica is where Wesker appears for the first time uh, since the original Resident Evil.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you also get a taste of his superpowers.
Mm. Yeah.
But I don't know if that's going to happen. I feel like they were building up to go straight to 5.
Mm.
Yeah.
But I'd be
Gross.
curious now that the actor's dead.
Yeah.
You know what they do
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's any trend with the Resident Evil franchise if the next game they release is another remake or if they're ready to release 9 yet.
Mm.
Like for a while, they seemed to be going remake, original. But I also feel like 8 took a point in the story that now they have to figure out what to do next.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like that one concluded a line,
Hmm.
and they need to
Exactly.
figure out whether they, what kind of style is the next Resident Evil going to take. And like honestly,
Yeah.
I loved the first person style.
Mm.
I thought 7 is my favorite because it had that first person. You felt alone. You felt like you were in a horror film. Like this was
Yeah.
a scary game.
I got to the part in 7 where you blow up the dad with the car, and I stopped playing after that.
I can't believe you played any of that. That's one Resident Evil that I will refuse to touch because I'm terrified.
Well, for the first time I tried to start a YouTube channel, me and my friends were playing it, and that's where we ended that, like, because we used to do like let's play, like weekly let's plays of games, and like that was the game at that point. So we would do like we would do like 2-hour let's plays of like, you know, like a 2-hour discussion on the game while we're playing it, and then that would be like the content would be just like a gaming for 2 hours or what, I forget what we called it, but yeah.
I want to do another playthrough of 7. I just, have the other things that are going on. But
You know
if
what
I could do one spoopy game this year, I would love to go back to 7.
You know, actually, the next remake I would really like is like a remake of 1, like a real, like be over the shoulder, you know, full mansion that you can explore. That's kind of what I would like to see at some point.
That would be nice.
But I also think Code Veronica, you need Code Veronica to understand certain things in the lore. So like that would also be like a really nice. Also, that game was like the hardest one of the original games. So,
yeah, that one would need to be rehauled.
Yeah, you could actually get
make it
stuck
more
in that
manageable.
game in terms of like progressing, and you would have to start over. Like that's
Yeah, if you ran out of ammo, there are parts where you wouldn't be able to succeed.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I would like that. I wouldn't mind them going back to 0
yeah,
and fixing that up,
it would be
because
cool.
that was a good story.
Yeah,
It like the plot and stuff was interesting. I just really hated that inventory management system.
yeah.
That killed the game for me.
Mm-hmm. That would be cool if they like. I mean, I know they already have like an Origins collection, but it would be really cool if they just remade 0 and 1 and put them together again. You know, or you could buy them like you could buy them separately for $40 a piece, or you could buy the collection for like 70 or something.
Well, I mean, hats off to Capcom for maintaining a franchise like Resident Evil and
Yeah,
being able to kind of revamp it every few games. So as much as I'm not a horror fan, I have a lot of respect for the Resident Evil franchise.
yeah. And their spin-off games are pretty good too. Like the Revelations games are pretty good too. They're more actiony. They're more like 5 and 6, but they're still really fun.
Yeah,
Barry's back.
I really
Barry's
like
back.
number 1. Yeah, Barry's back in 2. 2 was interesting for me, but I loved number 1.
Yeah.
Probably because it brought Chris and Jill back together.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's also that unique setting that takes place on a cruise ship.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
But that final boss was a bitch. Jesus.
Yeah, the bosses in Resident Evil are like always really tough.
All right.
Anyways,
well, I think we did it. Like we said,
Did
this episode is free for everyone. If you're a patron, the next episode you'll be hearing will be Oxenfree 2. And if you're listening on free feeds, the next episode you'll hear is Beacon Pines, which is like a choose your own adventure style story that's really unique in terms of like choosing. A good thing we played it when we did, because it's off Game Pass now.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
So yeah, Beacon Pines is really cool. And then
I feel like the current 3 that we've been doing has like a theme to it. The whole Night in the Woods theme.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening to this episode of a Video Game Book Club. If you want to be a patron and get these episodes a month early, you can head on over for just $1 to patreon.com/BossRushMedia, or if you want to listen on free feeds, that's okay too. Check out our website, bossrush.net. Pat, Stephanie, thank you for your time this Friday evening. Thank everybody for watching, and until next time, we love you. Goodbye.
We must
Watch
part
out for
and
them
go our
chainsaw people.
Oh yeah.
separate ways.
Ha.
Ah.
If you want to be a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushMedia, and find out which tier is right for you. Our Patreon producers at the $5 tier or higher for this month are Adriel Munger, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, and Rebecca Jewell. Thank you for your continued support.